All right, good morning. Welcome back. Friday the 13th, that's right. Welcome back, guys. Happy Friday, finally. Happy Friday. I was worried Margin wasn't going to be here today. Oh, he's not. Shit. Margin was late. I was a little worried about that. That was what I was most worried about this morning. Where's Margin? What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Another tough day for me yesterday. It's been, it's been difficult. Going on a trip? Nice job, Margin. Enjoy yourself. It's awesome. Yeah, yesterday, I wish I was on a trip. Morning, everyone. Welcome back. Happy Friday. Yesterday, tough one. I think I had the right idea pretty much all day. Just a disgusting grind throughout the day, right into our rejection points. Never got anything to flow in the opposite direction. Just sort of grinded all day. I'm happy I didn't think to long into it. I am happy with that. But, yeah, I guess, we're sort of looking for what you saw in the after hours on the intraday. But it is what it is. That is, that's trading. So good ideas, good supply, 60-50s, major rejection point. Knew that was there. Tried to short it. Never got anything. Just sort of chopped in a 10-point range for the rest of the day. And that was my day. That was my very lackluster and very boring day yesterday. So today, maybe a little bit more excitement. We got some news overnight, pretty much like 7 p.m.-ish, about the Iran and the Israel situations going on. So markets go straight down off that into some major demands. Demands are holding. We're sort of reverting back to the mean, pretty much 50% right now of the move. So now we just have to watch these levels again, right, and see if they give us reactions on the intraday. However, the common theme lately, which is just really miserable, is that these moves happen. These moves happen in the after hours quite often. The intradays are extremely heavy. They don't, move anywhere. Very sort of just stuck between very tight ranges, and then the after hours is sort of where it all gives up or goes up, and it's very difficult to catch, right? Especially even swing trading. I think puts will probably still open green, obviously. We're still down quite a bit. But, like, there was a moment today where you're like, oh, man, what if this thing reopens green? So even if you took a swing trade, you're still at risk of, like, the whole thing reversing on the after hours. So it's been, for me, just hard to get a really good momentum going right now. If you're feeling the same, just know that I feel the same. So hopefully that, gives you some peace of mind. But tough times last, or tough times don't last. Tough people do, whatever that quote is. That's really what goes through my mind here. Just got to keep grinding. Got to keep going. That's it. Just got to keep showing up. Show up every day. So that's that. Economic calendar today, 10 o'clock. So a beautiful day to wait 30 minutes. I think it's a great day to wait 30 minutes because of all the macroeconomic going on with the Iran and the Israel, especially with the consumer sentiment and inflation expectations. So I'd say first 30 minutes, you just chill out, relax a little bit, see what the market does over the first 30, wait for that data to come out. I think that's the right move. So that's going to be my game plan today. And then we'll see, right? We'll take a look at our levels today. We'll see how these reactions set up. We did pull back. So if you guys, yesterday on the live stream, we were talking about we need a pullback to the daily 20. This would be a very gentleman-like move, right? A pullback to the daily 20. This is something we've been very frothy. Buyers look exhausted. The title of yesterday's live stream was Buyers Look Exhausted. So technically what happened overnight is very good for the market, and it pretty much gets rid of, unfortunately, the short thesis from those highs now, which is unfortunate because there was a nice short thesis off 60-50 down into the daily 20, and that's gone, right? So that's what sort of sucks about today. That trade's gone. It's over. We went straight from 60-50 straight to the daily 20, and now we're just going to probably do absolutely nothing today, which is sickening to even think about, but very possible. So that move happened overnight. It's over. We can no longer think about that short into the daily 20 because it already happened. That was the trade that you really wanted to catch on the intraday. That's really what I was looking for, but of course it happens overnight. So that's sort of the problem with today. I want to make sure you sort of are aware of that. Everything that we were looking for off that 60-50 to the downside, it has happened. The trade is done. So we have to be very careful now shorting again into that daily 20, which is 100 points from where we are right now on the NASDAQ, right? So got to be really careful there. Let's pay attention to it. Let's be aware of it. And with that said, quote of the day: when you genuinely accept risks, you will be at peace with any outcome. Mark Douglas. I like that one. All right, let's do it. Let's jump into the charts here. So let me get everything pulled over, and let's do our thing. Let's prepare for the day, as we always do. And that's all we can do, right? Prepare every single day, create a game plan, trade it, accept the outcome. That's it. So that's what, yesterday I was sort of down about what I did, but today I feel much better. I traded my game plan, and unfortunately it didn't work. If it would have worked, it would have been a great risk reward, right? If that trade would have worked, it would have paid off these losses and then some. So that's really the key. So today, NASDAQ futures. We are trading back into a very major level here, my friends. This is huge. So you guys can see right here, we have these weekly lows right here, right? Weekly low. Last Friday's lows. Monday's lows. Tuesday's lows. Thursday's lows. We have 4 major lows coming into this level today, right? Here's a low, here's a low, here's a low. Major previous lows. We broke below them. Oh, flashbang. Haven't had that in a while. We broke below them. We came into our daily 20 demand, which is the exact spot we wanted to trade this down into. I mean, to the T. And then we push back higher into this level. The question today is, do you make a lower high? That is the question today. So once again, to reiterate, you have major previous lows here. You broke below them into a key demand. We are trading back into the previous lows of this week on Thursday, on Tuesday, and last week on Friday. The question today is, do you make a lower high and continue lower, or do you reclaim the lows of this week and close the week inside of this channel? And this pretty much just goes by as a little alfalfa non-event move. That is the major question of the day. That is the only that's the only trade you should look for today, right? Because that's really what matters. What matters is what happens here. Do we reject here, or do we reclaim here? Right here or right here? If we reject these lows, we are absolutely in somewhat of a flip on the market, right? We have flipped slightly. Still not on the major, right? On the major out, if you zoom out, you're still coming off a major demand down here, which is very important to realize as well. I want to make sure you realize that. Look at this. Major highs, major highs, major highs, lows, lows. So this is a little bit of the concern about how strong this rejection may be. This is an important level to see if rejections come in, but you also need to be respectful of how major this demand below is. All right, so if we go to this daily chart, I want to show you, or if we go to the 4 hour, right, I want to show you this 4 hour. Look at this area over here. All right, look at this 4 hour area right here. That could very well be another hold at major highs, at major highs, at major highs. If this holds like it did there, this is just going to be another pushback to the upside. We have been trading within a 1% range for now almost an entire month on the NASDAQ. Sickening. An entire month on the NASDAQ, we have gone a 1%. Pretty much after today, here's May 15th. This is May 15th right here. This is today, June 13th. That is completely flat. Look at this. You are trading at the same level from a month ago. So this is why the market has been hard to trade, right? It's not like I'm, having struggles in a trading market that's just trending beautifully to the upside, right? If I was struggling in this, then we got a problem, right? Or if I was struggling in this, then we got a problem, right? The reason it's been tough is because we have been we are literally at the same prices we've been for an entire month. So the ability to get really good action on the intraday is just really difficult. So that's sort of just to give you a picture of what's going on. That's that, right? So make sure you recognize that. So today, what I'll be watching is, do we see failures at this 21,700, 21,720 zone? If we do, is there an opportunity to fade this back to the downside? Now, the thing that scares the shit out of me, to be honest, is that this could be a beautiful short setup, but the intraday action could do something like this. And then bell rings 4 p.m. And then that's it, right? That's what concerns me about today. That's what I'm going to be a little bit cautious of before I really get into it. But previous lows, there's your high. Could this be a little rejection and downside move back into the daily 20? That's definitely a thought process. I would also consider whether this is a long opportunity. This would actually be slightly more interesting because of this move right here. If you do reclaim yesterday's lows, so if we go to yesterday, I'll also show you this on the 5-minute, which is extremely clean. Yesterday's pre-market lows is 21,714. So I'm going to put that exactly there. 714 right there. So you can see 714, 714. And then look at this right here, guys. Look at on the 1-minute chart. All right, so here's your lows from pre-CPI and pre-market. Take a look at this NASDAQ. Right there, 1-minute chart. Exact low, 1-minute chart, exact low. Now look at this yesterday, last night, in the future session when everything was going on. Look at that. 714, 714 on the dot. So that is perfect, right? That is a perfect fail under that low and that low on the dot, on the money. So what I would get interested in is a long on a reclaim of this level into the 820s right here. This could be an interesting long area. Reclaim this high, reclaim the CPI low, and reclaim that pre-market low right here. If you get that, you should navigate very quickly, in my opinion, into this previous low from yesterday, 820, and navigate through here. That is also a watch. So that's the bullish thesis. And then the bearish thesis is a retest rejection of these lows here at 21,714. Okay? Pretty clean, right? Those are clean looks. Now, the thing that we have to see is, does the intraday actually show up, right? Those are clean looks. Does the intraday show up? Same thing with the ES. It's the exact same look. Take a look at this on the ES. Look, ES, 6,000, 6,000, right? Really clean, right there on the S&P. We go over, opening low, right? 6,008. This CPI low is a little bit lower, which is a little bit strange to me, right? There's a little bit of a discrepancy there. So I'm actually going to put a line there. What is at this level? What's going on at this level as we speak? Right around this 890, 888. What happened? What's going on here? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't know how much I like that. It might be difficult to short back into that, though, to be quite honest, right? That might be a little bit of a reason not to short back into that zone. It could be just this 85 spot right here. See this hold that's going on right here? It's right around this, yeah, it's right around this 85, 87. I might actually put a little zone there just to be slightly cautious of that. So you can see right here, you swept under these lows. Look at how you're reclaiming them right now. That's a little bit of a concern. That is, I'm just going to put that as Thursday pre-market low, because that is slightly a concern. That could be something that messes you up pretty good right there. That could be something that messes you up pretty good right there. This low, these lows from CPI, right in that general area, and look at how you're holding above that right now. That could mess you up on the short side pretty good right there. Okay? I would be putting that on your level. I would put that on your levels there. If you break under that, then maybe you get more interested, right? On a fail back under these lows. So that would be something to watch a little bit there. Okay, that's also that's also Friday's lows. Yep. Right here. Yep, that's also Friday's lows. Look at this. Okay. Yeah, we got to have that there. Look at this. You guys, a lot of people ask me, Desi, how do you make your levels? Hey, come to the live stream and watch me do it live. Wake up, all right? So I'm a little bit like, that's something to watch. See this low? See this low? You move that over, all right? Got a little bit of action there at that low. And then look at what's going on right now there. Yeah. Okay. So I would be careful into that. That's for sure. There's so many landmines below again. All right. 7. And then let's zoom out, because we had these levels already, by the way. These are levels I did not make today. So what did we move down into on our overnight move, right? Our overnight move moved right into our gap fill. Remember we were looking for that gap fill yesterday? Down into 59.55, 59.30. This is exactly what happened, man. So if you guys remember, we were talking about this gap fill area between Thursday, Friday. We said, hey, we really need to fill this gap. Well, there it is. So that's over, right? And you can see, look at this low that held perfectly at 59.30. Spot on. 59.30, our 59.55, daily 20, held strong. Then you got your 73 lows, held strong, right? Right here, see these lows right here? We had that. If you look at 73, look at 73. Perfect. Holding. All right, so these are now levels we have to be careful of for a little pullback long still. My favorite pullback long today, if you're going to do that, is here at the daily 20. Now, on the flip side, If you do not clear out this zone here today, right, which is yesterday's opening low at 6,008, which has been a huge level, and this 6,000 rejection from overnight, if you do not clear this out, then you are susceptible to rejections today in this area. So make sure you're aware of that. That's the same thing as our NASDAQ area, right? Our NASDAQ area here. Now this is a bigger zone, right? Because here's yesterday's lows on NASDAQ. Here's that rejection on NASDAQ, 21,714. If you get above this, that's when I like the long into that yesterday low. On the ES, it's a much tighter, look how much tighter that is on the ES. Here's that rejection, here's the yesterday low. So that is very tight. But if you got above that yesterday low at 608, I think you can absolutely look to drive this market higher over 608 and just make up this entire move. That's definitely something I would watch. Okay, SPY. SPY is back over 598 lows, okay? So the SPY is back over these lows here. It's really like 597.60s. Take a look at this. Take a look at this right here. Look at the pre-market lows from yesterday on SPY. See this? Lows, pre-market lows yesterday, pre-market lows yesterday. Look at this right here. Holding right above it. So that is that's big, right? And then you can also see, look at this. Here's that low, here's that low, here's Friday lows, right? So you got the 597s, Friday lows, overnight lows, Tuesday early morning lows, Thursday pre-market lows. Look at how you just reclaim that right there. So that's definitely not somewhere you really want to be too aggressive to short into there. That is something to absolutely be watching. Here's your morning low from yesterday, or from on SPY yesterday, right here, 599.50. That's where you're probably trading into right now. 599.50. Over that, you're going back to 601. You're going to make up this whole move. This is where you must hold. If you fail back under this, I'd say is short side. QQQ coming right into these lows. This is the key, right? Look at the difference here. Look at, so here's a discrepancy you're seeing right now. This is the discrepancy that you are seeing right now, guys. The SPY and ES is over yesterday's pre-market lows and over this CPI low area. Right? Right here. See this? See how the ES is holding above it? Look at the SPY. See the SPY? Pre-market lows yesterday, holding above it. Right? Look at the NASDAQ. Pre-market lows yesterday, trading below it. That's your discrepancy right now. QQQ, pre-market lows right here, trading below it. Discrepancy. So, we need to see which one drives it today. If the QQQ gets over this, while the ES is already over it, you're absolutely going to see some juice to the upside, in my opinion. No trades today, kicking it at the U.S. Open. Man, oh man, do I wish I was there. God damn. That's awesome. That is a much better place to be spending your Friday, in my opinion. So, 528.50. Here's your highs. Here's your lows. Here are your lows. Look at that on the Qs. All right, so here is your discrepancy on the day, and this is what you're going to have to properly read on the intraday today to be profitable, right? What happens here? If we get above this, I would say the long is definitely in play. That would be my one attempt today. If I see this hold today, I'm taking my longs into this high. Right? Risking. Right? Good risk reward there. That looks nice. We'll have to watch out for 6,008. We'll have to watch out for this 599.50. Pullbacks to this area would be good. Fails under this area, no good. Okay. All right. That's my read so far. We'll keep refining it. But that's so far my read. Russell. Sexy 200 SMA rejection. We've been all over that. Nice holds at this, what is this, 2080. IWM 216. Looks like it's holding that daily 100, daily 20, which is what we were looking for it to come back into. I think 210 is your major watch here. It might be 211 actually. Let me zoom in a little bit here. Yeah, it's 211. You're watching that. 211 on IWM. The Dow Jones smacked off the 200. We've been talking about the Dow Jones smacking the 200. There it goes again. Smacked it. Right back down into this demand low. Just sitting here. SMH broke bullish structure for the day. We'll see if it continues, but the SMH did break its bullish structure. So you can see right here, SMH, we had our structure points being drawn out, right? And look at where the SMH is today. So we have broken the bullish structure. If the SMH rejects 260 today, then this could sort of stay in this downside move. So watch 260, watch 256 on SMH. Tesla. Tesla daily chart, pretty nasty, but I think the trade might be over. But nice looking daily chart, right, in terms of rejections. You guys can see right here, previous major lows, like previous consolidation lows. Look at this break and retest lower high here, right? That's pretty interesting. So you have this, you have this. Previous lows here turning into rejection points at 335 and the daily 20. So that's pretty clean there on the daily on Tesla. However, that trade's likely over because you just traded into our demand between 305, 312 and the daily 200, daily 100, which is very clearly holding up, right? Look at this right there. Daily 100, daily 200, stepping up strong. 305 demand's big. You can see Tesla sort of pushing out of it. The only trade today for me on Tesla would be a failure at 318, right? If you fail 318, I like that. If you get over 318, I like the long into 324, right here. 318 is the place to trade Tesla at today. NVIDIA, man, NVIDIA, Earth to NVIDIA, man. What the hell is this thing doing? It's just stuck. Totally pinned between 5 points on NVIDIA. 140.50, 145. We need a break outside of this. AMD, we've read like a book lately, which I'm pretty happy about. I just haven't been able. I caught a little bit of AMD actually yesterday to make my loss a little bit better yesterday. I did catch some AMD, which I'm happy about. But would have been nice just to catch AMD. What was our AMD game plan coming into yesterday's trading day? It was the break and retest of the 119.50 spot, and this was money. This was absolute money. So we had 119.50. We had 119.50. And we can see right here yesterday, money, little break, little retest, rejection of 119.50. Obviously, this leading to a swing trade downside of fantastic proportions and straight into our target of 116. So this was great. This was our low volume trade that we were sort of targeting. And that worked out. Unfortunately, you had to swing trade it. Unfortunately, you had to swing trade it, right? You can see right here. You had your low volume under 119, which it pretty much just went straight down into, and that trade is now over. So I would no longer look to short AMD now because it's at that major demand and that daily 20. At this point, you're going to need AMD to sort of rip back up into 119 for any type of short play, in my opinion. Yeah, that's pretty much it on that one. ARM, interesting hold to the daily 200 SMA here. I would be slightly intrigued if we can see rejections at these previous lows here. You can see right here, previous lows. Do we see rejections at 138 or do we reclaim 138? Going to be watching that. MU, trying to hold that 114, 111 zone, but really not interested in this one. Broadcom did what we expected. It popped back into that previous all-time high and rejected. We talked about saying, hey, this long is nice, but probably want to get rid of it into that 256. Pretty much exactly what it did, right? Perfect. It's now in no man's land. This is no man's land. You are below this high, above this low. There's nothing here. Apple, yeah, I saw it was a little bit strong this morning. It's absolutely terrible of an area on Apple, but you are coming down to that major low on Apple, 193. Is there risk reward here to the upside? If you play technicals, possibly, right? Right here, long, right here, long, right here, a little bit of a long, right here, long, right? Same spot. Could be something to watch if markets do recover, but it's been so dead. Google did what we wanted under the 177 low volume. Unfortunately, it happens in the after hours, which sucks. But we were talking about yesterday, if you came to the live stream, we said, hey, watch Google under 177. There's low volume below into that 172, and that's exactly what it did. So beautiful there. However, that short is now gone, right? That short is gone. Now it's interesting to see whether you hold this 172. Do you hold this 172 and push back up into the 177 area? That's interesting, right? Or do you break under this 172 and daily 100, daily 20? So you have a 200 SMA, a 100 SMA, and a 20 SMA all sitting right here. Big level for Google today. Big level. Amazon. Amazon broke the 211, 212, right down into the daily 20, which was our target. That's hilarious. Our target of like 208 in the daily 20. So that trade is over. I would say you are now watching for a pop and fade back at 212 if it happens, right? Right here. Highs, highs, lows. Do you reject 212 again? Do you fail under 208? That's your question mark right here. I'm actually going to create an alert there. At or above 211.50, so I get my alert on that, see if what it does. I'll also create an alert underneath 208. Okay, APP, sort of interesting in terms of downside, to be honest. Unless it does a sick reclaim today, we shall see. Watching both sides, though. Right here on APP, we needed to hold, I think we needed to hold 380. But it was like 380 to 375 was like sort of this zone that I've been watching. And you are now under that, which is sort of interesting, right? Look at this. Major highs, major lows. You look at this, you're under it now. So, interesting to see whether that zone becomes a rejection point now. This low, this high. Do you start to see failures under this level? If you do, there is some low volume below on a break and retest rejection here, right? This could be a little head and shoulder formation, by the way, right here. Can you create this next shoulder? I'm sort of interested to watch. Does it stay below this 375, 380 area is the question for me. If you get back above it, then it's instantly a long, right? If you get back above it, then it's instantly a long. Back over the daily 20, back over this zone. If you sort of have a little reclaim ripper, I would absolutely watch that. But for now, a little bit of a rejection spot. And something I want to show you, there's some pretty decent low volume underneath this 362 area, down into this 330 lows. So I'm going to watch this a little bit. We'll see if something comes out. Also had a short report again on it yesterday, which is crazy. I mean, how many short reports on this company? Interesting. I have an alert set on AAP underneath this 46 area right here. I want to know if AAP gets below this area because there is a monster gap up here that I want to watch. So 46 underneath that. I like this downside. I'm watching that very closely. Shout out Tanya for this one. Carvana has been on an insane run. Look at this run on Carvana. Is it about time we start getting some pullback here? I like this. I'm going to be watching this 305 spot on Carvana today. If we break under these 305 highs, I think you trade down into 292. You did just fail under this 315 spot. 315, failure. Under the daily 20. If you fail under 305, I think you can go down to 292. So I'm going to watch that one a little bit. Palantir, it would make sense to fail 135 here. A Palantir does a lot of things that don't make sense lately, but right here, 135, this would be a great break and retest rejection. I like this high, these lows. If you fail 135, I love that trade into 130. I think that'd make a lot of sense. So going to keep a little bit of an eye on that. But be a little bit cautious. Palantir can outperform, so I'll watch that 135 closely. Meta, holding our major demand at 680. I wouldn't really be interested in trading it in here, but 680 is holding. Under 680, you go 673. Under that, you go 664, which I believe is still the pullback that you want. Yes, it is. You still want this pullback, by the way. So Meta is possibly on a one-way ticket to the daily 20 SMA still, which would be a great look. This would be a great look for Meta. If we can get back here, you go long, 100%. 20 SMA, 20 SMA previous high, 664. That's a beautiful spot for Meta. But we got to break down some of these lows, and we're not. So interesting watching this. I have an alert underneath 678 today. Lulu dip buy? I don't like it. No, I think Lululemon is a little bit. I no longer own Lululemon stock. I think they have some pretty serious competition now, guys. I don't know if Lululemon's as cool as it once was. I think it could be dying off. I mean, I like Aloe more, personally. But it's like there's so many brands that just try to like every brand now has like a high quality athletic line that pretty much mimics Lululemon, right? So I don't know, man. I don't know how there's brand loyalty for certain things. So like maybe brand loyalty for cars. There's brand loyalty for Apple iPhones, right? For like some serious stuff like that. I don't know if there's much brand loyalty for clothing, to be honest. I'm not going to just buy Lululemon if I see something that's just as nice somewhere else. Not so much because of price, but like I'm not like only shopping at Lululemon. So I think people may have gotten, I don't know, I feel like it's like Aloe I think is a big problem for Lulu. Personally, I would not invest in Lululemon personally because of that. I think there's way too much I think there was a time where Lululemon was like on its own and everyone was just like foaming at the mouth rabies to go into that store. They're like, "Oh my god." I mean, it was sort of like the Apple store at one point. I mean, it's like the place is just jam-packed all day. Like in my local shops where I live, now you got an Aloe right next to Lulu, right? That wasn't there before. That's new. You have Aloe right next to the Lulu now, which is absolutely causing problems. I saw, you got this other, what's this other company that just came out? It's another company that's trying to be like Aloe and Lulu. Someone in the chat knows. Some female. Any females in the chat know what I'm talking about? There's another brand, Viore. Thank you. Thomas knows. Tomas. Maybe Tomas has a wife or a girlfriend. Viore. That's the other one. Yep. They're basically the same thing. So yeah, just be careful, man. I mean, think about these things. Hymns? No, not hymns. I don't know. I don't know. It's not. It wouldn't be my first choice. It wouldn't be my first choice. Now, is there a point where it's probably a good dip buy? Yeah, probably, but a little bit concerning, honestly. 227. Probably headed there, honestly. You're probably headed here at 227. You're wearing Viore right now? Oh, shit. There you go. See that? Ulta, gap, possibly gap fill trade here. Something to be watching. 427 would be the gap fill. I would only trade this under this low at 446.84, which would line up pretty much perfectly with these previous highs here. Yeah, I would watch this a little bit today. 446.84. Under that, I don't think there's much stopping this under that, to be honest. Ah, man, that daily 20 is right in the way, isn't it? Ugh. Look at this, though. Yeah, it might actually be under 454 here a little bit. 454. Let's watch that level as well. Yeah. You got a big gap tooth right there. Got a big gap between your teeth here. So, yeah, I'd watch this a little bit. Definitely. I'd watch this a little bit for sure today. I would say underneath, I would watch this low here at 454. And I would watch that 446.84 spot. And then I would target gap fill. You could get a little bit off at the daily 20 and then target gap fill. That will be something I monitor. Yo, what is Lovesac's ticker? Lovesac. I really can't believe this is a publicly traded company. Beanbags? What else do they do? Lovesac. What about Hooker? Hooker Furniture. Hoft. Yeah, not interested at all. RH. RH had a nice day. RH had a nice move earnings. But that's outside of my realm, so not interested. What else are we looking at? Netflix. Nothing. Nothing there. CRWV, what are we looking at? Ooh. What are these lows here? This one's going to be a tad bit tricky. 146. Previous lows from yesterday. Rejection. Yeah, this is a little bit interesting here. 149. It could be anywhere in here, really. You have these highs here, these lows, 149, 146, this whole area. I would watch this. This might become one of my top watches. How's our volume looking here? Yeah. I would watch this one today a little bit. This could be a little interesting. High flyer, likely needs a pullback. It's just a pullback. That's all it is. Pullback to like these lows. Yeah. I would watch this one a little bit. if we get nice rejections of this 146, 149 area, you have yourself a risk reward here for sure. I'm gonna watch that. Google pulled back to 172. Yeah, nothing there. TSM. Man, it's no man's land. TSM needs to come back to here. 206. It's no man's land for me. I'd say 206. It's an interesting chart, Comfort. Afghan war, obviously, because it was long lasting. That was actually also in 01, so. Interesting. All right. That's it. That's it. Let's get a quick review on the futures here. We can see that our level is rejecting the level that we are talking about here. You can see right here. If I go to the 30-minute chart. Actually, you know what? I'll show you this. You can see we are in this low volume area on the NASDAQ futures. Look at these lows. We are talking about these lows. That is your very important spot today, 21,714. S&P 500, look at 6,000 today. Look at 6,000 on the dot, 6,000, definitely something to watch out for. SPY, right there at the 559.50s. QQQ, look at this 528.50 spot, on the money, on the money. Look at that. That's your watch. All right, guys, that's all I got. I hope you have a fantastic day. If you could, please press that like button before you head out. Subscribe to the channel. Help me continue to grow the channel. We're going to continue to grind out some content. We got 3-4 videos planned already. Improving everything here for the channel, trying to continue to keep the channel growing. So with your help, that is possible. I appreciate you guys. Please press that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you want more. Comment down below. I don't know. Comment down below something. Whatever you're feeling. All right. I will see you guys on Monday. Have a fantastic trading day. Peace and love.